And we are live.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Berger, Mark Novak, and special guests Michael and Michelle from Michael Robinson and Co. to talk about the movement of a lot of Sydney lifestyle homeowners and investors moving to the country, and in particular, Forbes, New South Wales. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much. Good morning,
guys.
Michael, Mark.
And
It's my birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Yes, we're going to speak. It's Mark's birthday. He's young. He's right. He's 44. So, all right. Now we got that out of the way.
Yeah, all done.
So,
in all seriousness, guys, just to qualify, guys, while we're having this conversation this morning, as a real estate agent, we are seeing a lot of people reevaluate property, what they're doing, reevaluate even where they're living, and a lot of people going bush. So we thought it'd no better than talking to peeps in the bush. So Michael, Michelle, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Now, to qualify what you do, you guys have been real estate agents collectively for how long?
43 years.
And over 20 for myself. No, so 63.
So there's almost 70 years of experience, guys and girls watching today. And we've asked to draw on this experience because for anyone who doesn't know, Foster is North. Forbes. Forbes. I've even got a map in front of me and I said it wrong.
Wrong direction, mate.
Wrong direction.
Forbes, where's Forbes?
So Central West New South Wales.
West of Blue Mountains. West
of Orange, south of Dubbo, right?
Okay, why are people going to Forbes? Because you're telling us that your volumes have gone absolutely bananas. Why?
Well, I think, Mark, a lot of people are relocating to an easy lifestyle. The prices of houses are obviously a lot less in this metropolitan area.
They're very important.
We've got terrific facilities out here. If you haven't been here, we've got a first-class hospital, which is nearly new. Magnificent golf course, bowling club, squash, rugby league, rugby union, croquet, whatever you want in sport, we've got it. We've got terrific medical centres, so we've got probably more GPs per head of population than maybe in the metropolitan area. So we've got and terrific shopping, so everything's sort of laid on.
Very important, COVID-free.
COVID-free.
Oh, people are escaping the COVID.
Yes.
That's all.
So
But no cases in the fourth guy, so.
So if I'm in Sydney, I've got to get rid of that. I'm sorry, guys. That's the third time I did it. So I'm in Sydney. I go through the Blue Mountains. I go past Bathurst.
Correct.
Past Orange, and then I'm into Forbes. And
That's
how long
correct.
will that take me in a car?
Oh, about four and a half, maybe 5. Just depends how fast you drive. Probably 4.5.
Past Cowra.
Okay.
And
About, it's south of us.
south there.
I'm going to bring up a map just so everyone watching. Yep.
Now, what? So people are going out for that reason. What's it going to cost them to buy a house in your area? And why are they flocking to your area? Like, it just sounds like there's so much volume happening in the last month or two out there, COVID-free. What are people paying?
I say for a basic 3-bedder, brick home, good area, you're looking around that 300 mark.
Yep.
And then premium properties, 650, you'll get something with all the bells and whistles on a couple of acres on the outskirts of town. So good variety, but great investment opportunities too. So good returns on your rentals. So people can actually step into the market and, well, very much positively geared. But I've had one particular buyer, find me 2, find me 3. So they're very happy investors.
And with the area, so what if I'm going to buy there? Because I get worried if I was to buy and live or buy and invest. I've always been taught, and most people have, that Sydney has really good capital growth. But I understand you guys have pretty good capital growth as well. What sort of capital growth are you sitting at typically last 10, 20 years, 30 years?
Look, the last 20 years, we'd average about 7% capital growth per annum. So it's reasonably good, and you don't have to, if you're buying for investment purposes, you don't have to outlay a lot of money to buy investment properties, and that seems to be the attraction to a lot of the Sydney people. They can come out and buy 2, 3 or 4 investment properties for the price of possibly buying one in your area, and they split their risk. If one's vacant for a little while, it doesn't matter so much. But a lot of them are looking for the cash flow, and they're not actually looking for the capital growth. So they need the money to live on. And we've sold houses to people in their 80s, and you think, well, gosh, they're getting towards the end of their lifespan, and they sort of say, well, when we die, they can go to our family and they can do what they want with it, but it gives us good cash flow to do the things that we want to do while we can do them.
And I think the fact that there's no, there's no return in the banks at the moment. So that's the other thing that they're hunting for a return.
So what type of return? You buy a house, I think you said off air, all the bells and whistles for about 600,000. What would that rent for?
Yeah, that's probably above the rental market here though.
Okay.
So that's
What's a good example?
There is a ceiling out in the bush as to how much rent you'll get.
Yes.
So you're probably better to buy around that 300 mark, and you'll get 360, 380, 400 return per week on that outlay. So
400.
if you're aiming too high, you're not going to get that rental return. To see that profit. Yeah.
So that's just in the numbers: 400 per week over a year's 20,000 over. I think I did 300 purchase. Or 300, that's 6.99% return. So that's strong. You're getting 7% rental return. You're getting 7% capital growth as well. So you're getting on average 14% a year. As you said, in the bank, you get nothing. But a strong thing as well, if you're borrowing money at 3%, dumb question, possibly, your interest rates, the banks don't do it higher. Like resi commercial have different rates. Do they have different rates from if you're buying in DY, they'll give you 3%. If you're buying Forbes, maybe because it's higher risk, potentially it's 3.5, or is it similar on par?
Yeah, no, it's on par. Yeah, it's not increased because we're out here. Definitely not. Yeah,
so that's fairly strong. Because you buy in DY, it's normally between 2.5% to 5%, and where you guys are in Forbes, it's about 7%. So it's very strong just on the the rental play, which you just described.
Yeah. No,
units.
So interest rates you guys are getting?
Same.
So
same. Yeah.
2.5 to 3.
Yeah.
I
We don't have
believe
a
it.
huge unit
I'd
market
ask
out here.
again.
You mentioned units. We don't do a little bit, but not anything like what you guys do down there.
Okay.
And what about deposit? Because in Sydney, you can get away with a 20% deposit with no lender's mortgage insurance. What deposit do you require in your? Is it different in the country?
Same thing, Mark. 20% deposit, then no mortgage insurance. First home buyers, we've got no stamp duty, of course. So there's some good deals out there. There's a lot of competition still between the banks. So if people have got first home buyers or not first home buyers, as long as they're solid people, there seems to be plenty of money at the banks and to lend them. So there's, that side of it's pretty good. I mean, if we get a few younger ones coming in, they want to borrow and they've got a minimal deposit, but they've got a bank card and a car loan and a this and a that. Well, they're not in the race, of course. So.
Yeah. And Mal just said, what a great opportunity to invest, and the figures look like that as well. So I think we can just make the statement that basically all financial, it's the same finances. If you're in Sydney to the bush, so all finances.
I'm shocked. I'm absolutely shocked about that. I'm shocked about the lending, the interest rates, and the deposit required being the same as Sydney, and I'm shocked that the yield is so good. I think that maybe the growth is pretty good compared to Sydney. The growth's probably a little bit shorter than what Sydney does, but the yield is actually bigger than what Sydney does. So when you put those two puppies together, you start looking similar. That's incredible.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I also think I'm really passionate about the way Australians are going to be using Australia in the next 1, 2, 3, 5, 10, and 20 years. I think if you're an older person jumping on a cruise ship, I believe that's dead in the water probably in my lifetime. I don't think people are ever going to be jumping on cruise ships like they used to be. And international travel, I think if you're in your 60s and 70s, I think you're going to have a really good think about that. So I think a lot of money is going to be distributed out of Sydney and through Australia that was distributed normally around the world.
I totally agree.
Do you have when people come, when they go on a road trip, like what's in Forbes tourism wise? Is it a big market sort of is it a final destination? Is it a drive-through area? What sort
Michael, well, look, we're on the Newell Highway, which links Brisbane to Melbourne. So there's a lot of people go from Brisbane to Melbourne and vice versa. So Forbes is a stopover point, and if you haven't been to Forbes, it's got a magnificent lake running right through the middle of the town, and terrific caravan parks and things. So there's a lot of grey nomads stay here, and they might stay up to a week and then move on and go somewhere else. So the tourism's getting stronger every year. And of course,
lots of boutique shopping too for the ladies if they're passing through town. We've got a lot to choose from, a lot more than some of the bigger towns. So we're very lucky that way as well.
Because Michelle, you look pretty stylish for a country girl.
Well, thank you, Mark.
The shopping must be good.
It is very good. We're very lucky here.
We've got a question from Amal to you guys, Michael and Michelle. What are the renter demographics? Age, jobs, average tenure. So are they young, old, jobs? Is it mining? Is it farming? Is there a bit of a business circuit?
Yeah, well, Michael, we've got a bit of a mixture. We're a bit fortunate. We've got a gold mine to the north of Forbes and a gold mine to the west of Parks, West Wyalong. So a lot of people work in those mines and they travel out every day from Forbes. So there's a lot of people mixed up in mining, a lot of people with agriculture, and there's a lot of businesses that are steel manufacturers and people making silos and building sheds and things like that. So if people come out here and they're a tradesperson, plenty of work, electricians, plumbers, same as it would be in Sydney. Can't get enough of them. A lot of professional people come out here in the medical fields and accountants and so forth, and the Forbes Shire Council employ a lot of people. So if you want to work, there's some good job opportunities out here. And a lot of the people that do come out say they're only going to be here for 2 or 3 years and finish up staying till they retire. So because of the lifestyle and the ease to get around, and if the four of us decide we want to go and play golf, for instance, at 9:30 this morning, then we can go over there and hit off the first tee and away you go. It's a magnificent course, which things you can't do if you went down to Manly Golf Club. You probably got to, especially weekends, book a week or two in advance to get a hit off time and so forth. So they're the advantages, and it's only about a 5-minute drive all over town. So if you want to go to the shops and so forth, so nice, easy lifestyle, and the facilities are so good, and that's what's attracting people. Apart from the fact that if somebody sells a house in the western suburbs of Sydney as an example, and they get $1 million or thereabouts, which is probably the basic price, and come out here and buy something for 300 or 400. And they've got a bit of age on them, and they've loosened up their capital, and they've got a fair bit of money. So a lot of them will go and buy a caravan and go away for 6 months and come back, and basically gives them a really good lifestyle while they're young enough to enjoy it. Yeah, so there's sort of a lot of people in Sydney, as you know, are asset rich and cash poor.
Yeah. You touch on the industrial market there. I wouldn't mind touching on the commercial market, as it's sort of my bread and butter here. And I get people they raise the question on the statement quite a lot, because a lot of our yields here are between 5 to 6%. And the one sort of argument I say when they bring up somewhere out of Sydney, the country, they throw the offhanded comment, I can get a 7, 8, 9% return out of Sydney. My sort of big statement back at them is, yes, you can. However, it's when it comes empty, your vacancy could be a lot longer. So you may buy in Sydney to, yes, get a lower return, but your vacancy may be under 6 months compared to what we touched on outside. Do you want to go through a bit of one, is that sort of true? And 2, where do people do really well in the commercial market in your area, and where do people not? So if someone from Sydney is thinking about buying in Forbes, are there, because as we all know in that commercial market, there are 10 markets within the commercial market, from retail to office to industrial. Where would it be best for people to buy in Forbes, i.e. retail, industrial, and where not to? Where's a bit of a guide for people from Sydney to buy?
Michael, probably the pick would be industrial in Forbes. There's a lot of say shed builders and spray painters and all that type of thing that'll go into industrial buildings out in the industrial estate. If they vacate, it doesn't seem to be too difficult to get somebody else to go in and take the space over, so that's not a problem. A lot of the Sydney people that come out have traditionally bought the banks and the larger retailers on long-term leases. Now they're sort of coming to an end because the banks are all downsizing, metropolitan area as well as out here. So those buildings, when they do become available, we've had one, the ANZ closed here a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, we've just sold that to a lady who's going to do some quite extensive renovations, and she's got
repurpose the building.
Repurpose the building. So there'll be other different usages for what was traditionally a bank building and so forth. So and there's a lot of businesses, people who've sold commercial space, shops in the recent years have been renting, and they've got in a position where they're in a position to buy. So they've actually purchased their own building, so that negates them paying rent, of course. So because the market or the business is so strong, they're able to do that, and they can pay, once again, they can pay if they're borrowing money, pay their repayments about the same as what they were paying rental. So it's sort of a no-brainer. But there's certainly activity out here, and we've got a lot, mainly the industrial. It's sort of gone ahead really well in the last 5 years. I think a lot of people,
owner-occupier market good, retail can be a bit slow, maybe repurpose it.
Well, a lot of we've had businesses relocate, machinery businesses and others from other areas where the rents and the property land values might be dearer. So it's an economic decision, and if you've got a product, whether you're selling real estate or selling machinery or carpet, if you've got enough product there, people will travel to do business with you. So we've been very fortunate in that respect.
Yep. Michelle, tell us about the day-to-day residential market. You list a home, days on market. Is it 30 days, 1 month, 6 months? Opens Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday? Just a little bit of the basics of real estate, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah. So look, at the moment, things are selling before they're even hitting the market. So that pre-market thing's definitely happening out here a bit as well. There's just such a demand at the moment. So I would say probably 30 to 60 days usually, a lot less than that. We do open Saturdays and Sundays. Just depends what the demand is at the time, how many properties we've got, particularly coming up to auction. We make sure we give those plenty of exposure. But yeah, look, like I said, mentioned to Mark the other day, that the amount of properties that we've sold in 4 weeks is probably, this time last year, it would have been 2 months to move that amount of property. So, they're saying a drop in the market. We're not seeing it out here either.
What do you think is causing the increase? Is it one, so was the area selling that many, but you may not have had that market share, or has the amount of sales gone up, or have you picked up market share?
Definitely the amount of sales have gone up, but I think the fact that the money is so cheap. So,
interest
rates are low. Whether they be a first home buyer, they can go in and buy something, pay less than what they would have been paying renting. And from an investor's point of view, money's not worth anything sitting in the bank, so get it somewhere where it's working for you.
Yeah, and your major portals, realestate.com, Domain, and a lot of Facebook now. I had a look at your page, doing a lot of the pre-market through social media. How's your area taken that? Are they a lot of them, so I know what the success we have had, Lisa's had, where people were like, thank God, another form that I can view property. Has there been much, have the people accepted it, and have the other agents bagged it in your area?
No, they usually follow suit. So if you do something, it's not long until someone else is doing the same. So, I guess we're all trying to do the job, but obviously I watch you guys every day, so picking up a few tips that way. So that's been a big help.
Oh, we got a fan.
No, it's Mark's birthday.
We got a fan.
Yeah, absolutely.
We got a fan. We got one.
You got one. We got a couple. We got another. And Luke's always on. We appreciate Nikki Parker, Andrew Cole, David. Good to all have you on. And Glenn said, "Happy birthday, Mark." Yes, it is Mark's birthday.
Hey, before we sign out, just a question. We've today's series has been talking about going west, going into the bush, buying in the bush. So when I think I'm in the city, I I think people romance with the concept of being on acres. I appreciate you guys don't do a lot of volume or don't do acres, but if I was to get acres around where you guys, what would I be paying?
Well, mate, depends on a lot of broadacre farms are sort of 1,000 acres up, probably between 1,000 and 3,000 acres. Look, they're paying up to $2,000-3,000 an acre for that type of country now, and there doesn't seem any shortage of buyers. So the farmers aren't getting a great return on their money invested, but there's certainly buyers in big companies and corporations moving out. They're going all around Australia buying up land, so they're looking to food bowl for the future, I guess. I don't know, but prices that farmers have never seen before. So if they want to retire, they can sell and come to town, or even they've got enough money to go to Sydney and probably buy a nice home down there. So the rural side has been, the broadacre side has been very strong in the last couple of years, and I think there's not a lot of properties for sale.
So entry level for a lot of acres is probably 800 grand, $1 million, and then off you go.
You could get there's a really nice home on about 220 acres, and you're probably going to pay over $2 for that, but it's like a premium property. So that they are out there, and that's what someone's looking for.
Beautiful.
Okay. So not as cheap as I thought.
Any other things you guys want to get across to the anyone watching, Michelle, Michael, before we sign off?
I don't think so, Michael. Just we'll look you up when I'm in Sydney next time, and you can take me down to the Staying Hotel and give me a bit of an introduction to the real estate in your way.
No, in the city we have coffees. We don't do beers like in the country.
Yeah, we don't do beers.
Yeah, we do coffee.
Avocado and eggs and lattes with no milk and soy.
But for you, we'll do beers.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Hey, look what I got a birthday present here today. Lisa Novak's just joined. Look.
Hello, Lisa. Good morning.
The first time Lisa's been on Morning Minutes. Wow, congratulations. Is it? I think it's the first.
First time it's been on Morning Minutes, she said.
Happy birthday, Mark.
Hey.
Oh, the crowd goes wild. Lisa's on.
We keep losing everyone.
Sorry, I just had to turn my Bluetooth off.
Yes.
But I don't think it worked anyway.
No, all good, all good. Hi, guys. Hope everyone's well.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much, Lisa.
Well
Lisa,
done on your success the last few weeks.
Yes, thank you very much. Yeah. No, I watch you very closely. So, yeah.
Facebook works in the country, Lisa. Facebook works in the country. They have Facebook too.
Here, I'm so
Sorry, guys. I don't have a speakerphone. I might turn the pod back on.
We're just having some sound issues.
But we're going to wrap it up because it's my birthday. And we're going to go do an appraisal.
A birthday appraisal.
Yeah. So, guys, take care. Sorry about the we can't hear you, but you guys take care. Love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, Michael. Bye.
Bye.